that he was going to come. So I waited, and I waited. Now, made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I kept waiting for that specific person to see me and say, here I am. Here's your wife. This is the one that God has for you. But when you do things out of order, and you do things not in the way God will have you to do, it's not that God is taking your blessing away. Your blessing just may be delayed. He said it's not denied. It just may be delayed because, like I said, time is of the essence. You got to know when to move. You got to know what time it is. You got to know, because when you see God, he's going to guide you where you need to go, where you need to be at the right time to get what it is he has for you. And that's the orchestrator. You got to wait for him to lead you. And a lot of times we get in a hurry and say, okay, Lord, there's a sign. You gave me a sign, so I'm going to move. Okay, you ain't listening, because that's flesh. Because everything that you want look good to the flesh. You know a lot of stuff we ain't got no business eating, but it look good. It tastes good. But God is not pleased with how we caring for our bodies. If we're not eating healthy things, if we're not eating the right thing. I don't really care for McDonald's a lot, but I love Whoppers. So knowing a lot of things that I do eat is not healthy for me. But sometimes, I'm going to treat myself today. I'm going to get me a Whopper. They don't sale, buy one, get one free. I get one for me, get one for my sister. And then both of us sitting up there not feeling good because we ate something that we know we didn't got too old to be trying to eat anyway. Oh, she feeling sick and I'm feeling. It's your season is past for all of that. You can't be just eating, and the body can't take in anything, even in our thinking. The things that we see, exposing ourselves to, exposing our children to, things that they see on TV, it's just so much right now that the enemy is trying to use to trap us, to keep us from getting to that place where God wants us to be, and getting to the blessing that God has already stored for us. It's waiting on us to wait to do things the way God has us to do it. And this is the time right now. Everything is according to time. From the time we wake up in the morning. Some people set their alarm clock for 7. Some people set their alarm clock for 6. There's a certain time that we have to do things. And it has to be in order for it to work. But nothing without God. Time does not work without God. Because it's controlled by him. We can't do anything without him. Amen. We can't do anything without time. You can go all day long and not look at the clock. It don't mean it stopped. That clock gonna keep on going whether you pay attention to it or not. So, I said this to myself because I spent 35 years wasting time. And I caused a lot of heartache and a lot of pain and suffering upon myself because of the choice that I made. I don't blame anybody else. I'm thankful for my children. I'm thankful for all of my grandchildren. But I wish things would have been done different. I wish I would have did things in a different manner. And I would have been able to have the blessings that God had for me. And I know that those blessings are going to come because now I'm learning how to wait. Sometimes I want to get ahead and God says, stop. Be still. You're moving too fast. You're going in the wrong direction. I want God to lead me. But it's like our children. They get anxious. Take a kid in the toy store and tell them to pick one gift and they'll run all over the whole store. We got to know. If we want our children, we got to train our children up and teach them about time. We got to also know it within ourselves. That we got to do things in a timely manner. We cannot be in a hurry to get ahead of God. Because you can't go before him and you can't go behind him. He's control of your entire life. So I'm just, I can say that now at the age that I am now, it took me a long time to get it. The Lord said, timing is everything. Timing is everything. Where God is leading you, what God is doing in your life, the plan and the purpose that he has for you. It all has a time. And a lot of time we waste. A lot of time we miss out on what God has for us. Yeah. And I don't want to miss anything else. I want to see the blessings of the Lord. Yeah. I want to see the reward come upon my life because I'm doing things in the way God say do it. So sometimes when you're in a position and you said, okay, I want to take this time to go on vacation. I want to take this time to go and travel. I want to do some things. If you don't seek God about it, if you don't talk to God about, okay, Lord, is this the right time? If it is, make provision. If it's your will, He's going to make a provision. He said that He will provide a way for you. He is the way maker. He is the door opener, heart fixing, mind regulator. It's nothing we can do of ourselves, but in anything you're doing outside the will of God is disobedience. And there's the things that you're going to suffer for because of your disobedience. So we got to know how to get things done decent and in order. And everything has to go according to the Master's plan. And I'm just so thankful because, I was telling my daughter, I said, I waited a long time. I waited a long time to be able to see some things change in my life. And I thought that I was making some right decisions about some things that I was doing in my life. And I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. And some of those mistakes that I made that I'm dealing with now, I'm still shedding some tears over some choices that I made. And I'm still dealing with some things. But I'm so thankful that the old me has passed away. Because the old me was a fighter, a cusser, didn't matter, But now when things rise up against me, I'm learning how to call on the name of the Lord. And said, okay, Lord, LaTanya Holmes, Peaches can't handle this. I need you to guide me in this situation because you cannot tell everybody everything. The more you talk to people, you're going to get wrong information. And some people are going to tell you information that's going to be more harmful to you than good. But you got to take everything to God in prayer. Everything to God in prayer. And I'm learning how to talk to the Lord. It's not about just, falling out, screaming before the Lord, but it's about that communication with Him, just saying, Lord, in this situation here, I need you. I don't understand it, so I need you to give me understanding. I need you to lead me where I can get real, true understanding, because my desire is to walk in your will. So anything that I don't understand, I know that I need to get understanding. That's why He said in His word, and all you're getting, get understanding. And man is not going to always give it to you. They're not going to always give you the right information. It don't matter how old you are, we're still learning. We still got to learn how to understand and put everything in the Word of God in order. So that when it's, selfed out, it's selfed out the right way. You getting it. You getting the understanding. You getting ready to bake a cake. You got to look at all ingredients. I baked a cake one day and forgot to put oil in it. And I put some eggs in the cake, and I put some water and milk in the cake, and I baked the cake, and the cake was so pretty, it rose so high, but when I got ready to cut it, something came to me and said, you didn't even put no oil in there. It told you that you're supposed to put a half a cup of oil. You didn't put it in there. And that cake was just as dry, but you would have never known it by looking at it. It was because I was in too big of a hurry, not paying attention to the ingredients. So you got to make sure that when you look at it, you gotta get it all. You just can't read part of it. You got to say, okay, I got this together, got this together. That's the order of which you're baking a cake. And that's the order of life. We got to make sure that we put everything in the right category. And as we put it in the right category, it's going to come out the right way because we've followed the Lord's ingredients. Amen. And that's why I really wanted to share that testimony myself, because I see what God is doing. I see what God is doing in me. Even with my ministry, He said timing is everything. You got to know that in ministry, when you're walking, not everybody's going to walk with you. And not everybody's walking with you is with you. Because they're standing there don't mean they got your best interest at heart. That's why he said, know those that labor among you. Because if you don't know who they are, you got people that are just to be looking, watching, seeing what they can bring trouble into. So we got to know it. So with sister to sister, everything that I'm trying to do, I said, okay, Lord, I'm breaking down here. I feel like some things is coming against me. I don't know how to handle it. Seek after him. I got to trust him. I got to put things where they're supposed to be. There's a time that I'm supposed to be preparing myself to do this. So I got to make sure that I got myself ready in that area. And before I can do anything else, I got to make sure that I'm ready, because it's not just me. This ministry is affected. It has to affect other people. Everything that we do is not for us. It's for the outreach. It's out for the kingdom. It's out to win souls to Christ. So we got to know that everything that's in our heart is right. You got to know that the hatred, the bitterness, the resentment, the anger, everything that you are holding on to has to be released. If you don't release it, it's going to destroy you, and it will destroy any ministry that you're a part of. And that's what you got to understand. We got to walk together. We got to stand together. We got to be encouraging of one another. And if we can't do that, if we can't be out here helping and praying and seeking God together about the same thing, then we're apart. That's division. And God is not the author of confusion. So we got to know this. Okay, everything we're doing right now, are we on time? Are we doing this on time? Lord, is this where we're supposed to be? Are we supposed to be at this location? Where are we supposed to be? And the things that we're supposed to do. Now, I'm speaking for me. And that's what I have done for 35 plus years. Since I was 16 years old, all I've ever done was things my way. And it took me a long time to realize it's because of the choices that I made. It was the things that I was holding on to that I refused to let go of. So I want to be able to walk into my destiny. I want to be able to get to that place where God has said, okay, now I can use you. Yeah. Because you're standing where you're supposed to be. You're in a position that I told you to stand in. In order for you to be a soldier in the army, Lord, you got to know how to march. If they doing right, you can't go left. We got to dance to the same beat. We got to move in the same direction. That's order. So I'm just so thankful that I wanted to share this testimony. And I know many of you may share in this same testimony and things that you might have done in your past. But this is mine. Amen. This is what I'm saying about Latonya Holmes. I'll put myself out there. And I feel like I want to apologize and say to everyone, if I've done anything that you felt like, or you even noticed that I didn't do on time, or things that you might feel like I did out of order, I'll stand before God's people and I repent. Because there's one thing I don't want to do, is I don't want to waste any more time. We don't have any more time to waste. Amen. It's too much going on out there now, and if we don't catch up with time and start doing things the right way, this is exactly what we're going to get. We're going to get to a place where we're going to have everybody saying, oh my goodness, where we going now? What we doing now? There's no order. In order for it to be order, you have to know what time it is. And you got to know where you are supposed to be in Christ. Not of your own, but of the will of the Father. So I just want to share that testimony with you. And I'm so thankful because I want to bring my daughter up here. I'm so proud of her. I was young when I had my daughter. And her father was the love of my life. Almost 35 years, I've sought this man to be my husband. And he's not. Never was. But that was a choice that I made. And I don't regret my daughter. I love both of my children. And I wouldn't change anything about them. And I'm so thankful for her because even though things may not have worked out between me and her father, she's been a blessing to me. She's been my best friend. She's not just been my daughter, she's been my support. She fussed at me, Mama. See, this is what I'm talking about. You doing this and you doing that, you doing too much. We need to hear that even as parents. Even as parents, we think that we're supposed to be chastising our kids. They'll come back and let us know when we're wrong. Amen. And I appreciate it from her, because in order for her to not just love me as her mother, but just herself has a loving heart for people. Amen. So when she sees something that's not the way it's supposed to be, she'll let me know. And I'm thankful for that she can share that with me. But I'm thankful is because of the encouragement and the inspiration that she is in my life, both of my children. And I thank God, because a lot of times, we don't have a good relationship with our children. And I want that. I don't want to ever lose a relationship with my children. I want my kids to always be a part of my life, and I don't want them to be afraid to ever say anything to me, especially if it's something that's going to help me and encourage me and inspire me and not going to tear me down. So I want to be her to come and share her timing. She has an awesome testimony, and I just want to bring forth to, as my sister. She's my daughter, but she's also a part of this ministry, sister to sister. And I want to bring up my daughter, Kiosha Caitlin.
Amen.
Praise the Lord, everybody.
Praise the Lord.
Can't hear you.
Praise the Lord, everybody.
Praise the Lord.
Initially, when my mom brought this to me, she said that her topic was "Love Will Find You."
Yes, love will find you.
And she wanted me to talk about my situation and the things that I had gone through just before. My husband and I are going to be having a newlywed reception on September 3rd, so I kind of want to keep this more about me. But for the most part, her wanting me to talk about love will find you. And it took for me to go through a lot to get where I am right now. Not perfect, but everything is peaches and creams, but it's better than it was yesterday.
Amen.
I had to really do some soul searching and praying and seeking God on where I was before I became where I am now. About a month exactly before I met or knew that my husband would be my husband, I wrote something, and it's called Her Letter. It's called Her Letter to Him. And I wrote this because I was at a place where I almost felt like love couldn't exist for me, or I wasn't good enough, or there was things that I really had to work on within myself. And after I wrote this letter, I left it alone, and then I started to seek God for some things for myself, things that I had to fix within myself. And like my mom said, it's so hard to move on and move forward and prosper in life when you have not let go of things that you've been holding on to.
Yes.
And at that time, I was holding on to a lot. A lot of people have to go back and fix things that were broken, whether relationships or friendships.
Yes.
And my heart led me back to my father. There was things that I had to forgive him for, and things that I had to apologize to him for. And once I started to let the bitterness and the frustration and the anger go, I was able to move forward. I'm going to read to you the letter that I wrote. And mind you, like I said, I wrote this exactly 1 month before I came to know my husband. And if you know any details about us, they'll kind of stick out in this. And it says, "Hello, love. My journey to you has not been easy. As God prepares me for you, I acknowledge today that my past has been trials and joys of life learned lessons. Trials meaning failed relationships and friends, physical and emotional neglect and self-distraction. Joys meaning my body has bared children, yet I have accomplished so much as a single mother. It has given me a spirit of determination, ambition, and goals. Through it, God has truly blessed, covered, and kept me, mind and body. And on the day our paths cross, whether it be for the first or 100th time, you will not see me, but acknowledge me, my beauty and worth from the inside out. My imperfect flaws won't matter because they won't matter. I will not hold against you the pain of my past because I have been delivered and ready to accept you into my life and my children's. They will love and accept you because they trust me. I will trust you with them, and I will be trustworthy of your package deal, the next Brady Bunch, I'd imagine. You compassionate, genuine, yet stern. I'd acknowledge the imperfect man and not expect you to always be at your best, and in those times I will pray with and for you, fight for you, encourage you, and support your dreams, visions, and plans as God leads you. Respect you in our union, in your presence and absence. Acknowledge that my endurance before meeting you was God's planning alongside some bad choices because I was being prepared for better. This does not mean life will be perfect here on out, but I've been prepared to love and be loved by a man like you. A man that is rid of his past, restored and favored by God to lead and claim head of house. We will not complete each other, but simply see the completion in one another and know that we are one. Until then, I will wait for you. Pray for your days and long nights, and cry out to God when you want to give up on finding me, and praise him when you do. For God is preparing me for you as I am ready for love. I wrote this a month before meeting, well, I knew him, but before actually meeting him. And a lot of things that I wrote in here, like I said, I wrote it and I put it to the side. That was me basically sharing my heart's desire with God. And once I wrote it and I left it alone and I decided to focus on myself, fixing the things my imperfections and anything that was going on with me, things slowly came together for my household. And once me and my husband became one, it was a lot of criticism, a lot of judging, a lot of things going on. But initially, we may have started out wrong, but with God, we're going to end strong. Amen. And that's where we stand right now. So she just wanted me to share my testimony with anyone who may feel that's not going to happen for them, or they're not good enough, or where they stand in their life right now, they're going to miss out. And to me, I had to fix what was wrong within me first. I had to acknowledge everything, all of my imperfections. I had to work on myself first. And once I worked on me and I allowed God to work within me and move forward with my life, things started to change. So I just wanted to share my testimony with you, and I pray that it was a help to someone who heard it.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord. That was such an encouragement, because a lot of times as women, especially single moms, we're looking for happiness, and sometimes we make the wrong choice. Have anybody here made the wrong choice in a relationship? Am I the only one? We've all made it. We've all did things on our own. We've all walked that path that we thought was going to lead to happiness forever. You know, I made a choice. My mother was an evangelist, and his grandmother was an evangelist. We were PK kids, raised up in the church, knew better, but still looking for love without understanding. And the choices that we make, sometimes we have to pay a heavy price. And we don't really see the good in anything after you've been hurt. Once the heart has a scar on it, it is very hard for you to let go. And I dealt with it for a very, very long time. And I'm so thankful because when I see the relationship between my daughter and Mark, they are such a support to one another. They got each other's back. I took pictures of them one day holding their hands up, and he had his hand up with a muscle, and she had hers up. And I said, that's power, standing together, because once you become one, that strength doubles. So we are helpers of one another. And that's what we got to be in ministry, because ministry is a marriage. We got to show that power. We got to hold our hands up and say, I got your back. I'm here for you. You here for me. And that's one of the things that's tearing down the churches, because we got so many people that are here for the wrong reason. And they really have lack of understanding. I was one. I was trained up in church, but I was just so ignorant about God. I didn't know anything. I had to get hungry for myself. It wasn't what my mother told me or what the pastor said in the pulpit. I got to learn him for myself. He said, take up my cross and learn of me. That's a personal thing. You got to seek God for yourself. Because we all want, I'm not even just going to say women. You got men that are looking for happiness, looking for the right woman, but so many people are looking past the heart, and they're looking at exterior. They're looking at clothes and hair and this and that and job and money, and don't you know that God can bring all that into a relationship? He can bring all that into a marriage. You can start out with nothing. You got people, we started out with nothing, and now we're building a business together. But like I said in the beginning, everything begot timing. If it's not in order, it's not going to work out. Now, God can take the things that we do for bad and turn it around for our good, but it's according to how we work it. If you're doing the right thing and you're working and doing the things that God has called you to do, regardless of past mistakes, there's still order. You can still turn things around. It took me a long time to get it. I waited and I wanted, and I it's not that I didn't trust God. I tried to get ahead of him. And I'm trying to get to know what God wants from me by going out getting things for myself that was not healthy for me, that was not good for me. People that came into my life that literally almost broke me down. But I thank God. I thank God that he saw me in a situation and he brought me out of it. Amen. He reached down and he grabbed me out of a place of darkness in my life. And he pulled me out. And when he pulled me out, he showed me myself in a dream, in a ditch. And this ditch was really, really big. And as I was in the ditch, everything in the ditch is dark. Now, everything that's down in the ground is dead. Ain't nothing living under this ground that I know of. Now, if it's in the ground and it's dead, who can restore the dead? The dead but God. And as he grabbed my hand and he pulled me out, he told me to go forward to the next ditch. And as I began to look around, there's about 1 million ditches right up in front of me that I'm going to have to go to and help somebody else out of. God don't deliver us just for us to go sit in the corner and say, well, I'm delivered. I guess he'll get you the next go round. No, that's what we're supposed to do. He uses us to go out and get. We are the one that's supposed to go forth and be the disciples for him. We are the one that's supposed to go out and help those that are struggling and lack of understanding and don't know really where they are or where they stand in Christ. And I'm just thankful because I could have lost my life. The position that I put myself in the world, I should not be here. I shouldn't be alive. I shouldn't be free, and I should not have my right mind. I should have been somewhere in a mental hospital, in a grave, or somewhere in a hospital, a prison. But God. But God. His grace, his mercy was sufficient for me. He called me out. And he told me, I'm going to tell you where he called me out at. He called me at the strip club. I used to love to go to strip clubs. I'm going to tell you about me. I'm talking about LaTanya Holmes. And I thank God for that deliverance. Because it's a lot of, like I said, a lot of things you lack. You don't understand, but you want. You want a relationship with somebody that you hope and one day may lead to being your husband or your wife. So you're looking at things in the wrong way. You're looking at things in you know, this may be the man that God sent for me. He looks like this is the one. You know, everything seems to be good. And then you start looking past the bad things. When I met my husband, the one that I was married to for 10 years, when I met him, it was a telephone call that I shouldn't have called, made. Real bad. He made a call playing on the phone on Christmas Eve. By accident, he dialed my number out of the telephone book, left a message on my phone, and said that I went to high school with LaTanya Holmes. And if you the same LaTanya Holmes, could you please call me? Now, I ain't never been to school in the state of Florida in my life. And I told somebody, I said, this guy, he sounds so good on the phone. They told me, they said, that might be your husband calling back. And I did. And 10 years of my life I lost from that very first phone call. Because that was not my husband from God. That was nothing but flesh. That was nothing but trouble. And I paid a heavy price for it. But that's what you do when you're thinking. You're thinking, this is what God has for me. Oh, you hear the stories of how people did met and stayed together 20, 30, 40 years. So you hoping that might be you. But when God sends you a sign, take heed. Because I took every sign that he sent me, slip it on the rug. That ain't God. Everything that he did when he was stealing from me, everything he did, God was showing me that was not the man that he had for me. But I didn't want to take heed because now flesh is in it. The heart is in it. The mind is in it. And I'm trapped. But I thank God that even though I got myself in this situation, I knew how to pray myself out. I know how to talk to God and say, Lord, deliver me from self. Because this is about me now. This is a choice that I made. And I can't say, well, if it had not been for them women that told me to call him back, I knew that I had no business calling him back in the first place. But that's what happens when the enemy already knows that your heart is lonely. You want somebody to communicate with. You want somebody to have, just a companion. But if he ain't sent to you by God, and you would know if he is. Because you know a righteous man if you're a righteous woman. But if you're struggling in something in your body, if you're struggling with something in your flesh, and it's something that you're dealing with, loneliness, that's the trap that the enemy got, because he already know that you're vulnerable. He already know that you got a loneliness in you, that you want somebody in your life. And all of a sudden, just the way you like it, I've always loved a man that wear cologne. If you smell good, it didn't matter. You have to have what you look like. As long as you had all your teeth or something like that, I don't know. But if you smell good, that was it for me. My eyes was crossed and I couldn't see straight. And that's exactly the way he came. Smelling good. The first time I saw him, the first thing I recognized was his cologne. And it was it from there. It's like the enemy knew that. That's a trap. There's nothing but a trap. So you got to know that the enemy's devices and what he would do to set us up as women to think that right man is the one that's sent to you by God, and he not. So we got to be ever so careful. If he say that he got a relationship with the Lord and he believe in the Lord and he know God, that does not say he's saved. That does not say he's sanctified and filled with the Holy Ghost. You have not seen him do anything in the house of God but just sit in the back row and clap his hands. But yet he says that he's a man of God. Yet to your degree you might be. But you ain't ready for this woman of God. Because I'm ready for God. If you ain't ready for God, we can't stand together. That's unequally yoked. And that's what God would not have us to be, is unequally yoked with someone that God has not ordained us to be with. So I share this testimony because I'm thankful that my daughter has found love and someone that really truly has her back. And I really do believe in my heart that I will one day too. But one thing I've learned what to do now is to wait on God. Because timing is everything. And the reason why the Lord gave me the theme is love will find you is because, well, like she said, it's something that she wants to share, but she wants to share it at her newlywed reception. But I just want to say that when God send you your husband or send you your wife, whoever he has for you, you're going to know that that person is sent to you by God. Because God, just as quick as the enemy will show up the wrong thing, God is right there to reveal what's right and who's right for you. May not everybody agree with it. They may say, girl, that ain't your type. Both of my children's fathers are 6'2", and I'm 5'2". They are tall, I'm short. But my husband was 5'5". So I can't say what he's gonna come to me looking like. As long as he's sent to me by God and I got to see God in him. I got to know that he is sent to me by God. Because I know the second time around, definitely gonna be for good. Because I'm waiting on God. And I just want to encourage someone, if you're thinking about getting married or you have someone in mind, just pray about it and know that God has someone for you. And if this is the one he's going to show you, he's going to show you love. Because love finds you. A man that finds his wife, he finds a good thing and obtains favor from God. So you know that when he comes, love will find you. And that's the way God is. He finds us. He is the one that gives us the love in our heart. He's the one that connects us to the true love. So in order for you to know love, you got to serve love. And God is love. And he sent his son to die from love. I love you so much, I'll give my only begotten son for you. So to have someone that's going to love you with an unconditional love, that's going to be support. Is it going to be perfect? Will it be trials and tribulations? Yes. Everything that we go through in this life, nothing is going to ever be perfect because we're not in a perfect world. That's in the kingdom. That's why we got to strive to get there. That's where everything is perfect. Right now we got to struggle. We got to use the spiritual eyes and see what God has for us and know that what he has for me is not for me and her. My husband I'm not going to share with my friend. My husband I'm not going to share with the next door neighbor. My husband's for me. I'm not going to share my wife with my next door neighbor. I ain't going to come home and catch nothing because I'm going to be able to feel confident to know that this man belongs to me. It will find you. So I just want you to take these words and think about it. Wherever you are, you know somebody that is in a situation where they questioning a relationship. If you have some concerns, some fears, I don't know if this is the one, you better know it. You better know it. Because I'm one to tell you, 35 years I found out he wasn't the one. He was not the one. I love him still. I will always love him. He's an ordained pastor, man of God. Married to a beautiful woman, and he's happy. And I said, Lord, that's good for him. But that had to let me know he was never yours in the first place. You waited. You waited. But you didn't wait on God, you waited on man. So now that you can finally let go and really see the plan that he had for you. The plan is still in existence, but because of where you are, because you have taken so many of your time and years and wasted them, I can find myself in Christ. I can build my hopes and my dreams in him. And whatever follows, if I never get married again, I'm okay. And if I do get married to the right man, I'm okay. As long as I got King Jesus, I don't need nobody else. So y'all just continue to pray my strength in the Lord as God do what he's going to do through me in Jesus' name.